Hey everybody, it's Shadowstar and Crystal here for another Arrow review, this time episode 16 of Season 2, Suicide Squad.
Basically, all we got was Oliver pushes people away for a whole episode, so much so that he doesn't even notice that Diggle's busy with something else. Except there was a deleted scene where Diggle told him where he was going, but I don't think deleted scenes are canon, so basically my impression of the episode was that Oliver didn't even notice he was gone.
That's one way to put it, but getting back to the point, obviously as you mentioned, while yes, we have some side plot with Oliver, let's focus on the main plot. It's a Diggle plot. Now, as I said, normally I don't care much for Diggle plots, but it's Suicide Squad. It is the definition of a villain team-up, and I love villain team-ups. And honestly, it's Suicide Squad. They brought back every villain you've loved. They've got Deadshot and Bronze Tiger. And you've got Argus. And they're all teaming up. How can you not love it?
Yeah, I just hate that there's really no choice in anything. If they don't do what they're told, their head explodes.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the point of the Suicide Squad. It's what it's known for. But you gotta love it. It's a villain team up, and they always, anytime this show does a Suicide Squad, which later they will just call Task Force X because we can't say Suicide Squad after 2016 because they were making a movie, and now they're making another movie. But man, I enjoyed this episode. Let's focus on all the Diggle and Argus stuff first, first off, it had quite a few callbacks. First off, a random name that involving a story Diggle told ages ago in Season 1 became the focus of this episode.
Oh.
Way back, as it showed it previously, way back in I think it was in the Odyssey actually, he told Felicity a story about a guy he was protecting and he killed somebody, and now that guy is a target of this episode.
Yeah.
But funny enough, they tie it in even further because it turns out that guy was the guy who was wanting the prototype earthquake machine that we had in Tremors.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Tremors, like we said, we've got Bronze Tiger. Remember, at the end of Tremors, Amanda Waller recruited Bronze Tiger. And somehow recruited Deadshot. Now, maybe I'm forgetting, but when was the last time we saw... Last time we saw Deadshot was when they broke him out of the Russian prison.
Yeah. Somehow he got from Russia to here.
Somehow Amanda Waller caught him, and now he's on the Suicide Squad. And as you mentioned, there was a little female voice that we heard in the jail cell. It's never mentioned who they are, but it is supposed to be a well-known person from the Suicide Squad who isn't in this episode, but yeah. It's supposed to be a well-known person known for both the Suicide Squad and for Birds of Prey. Literally, they're on the cover of both those movies.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to Birds of Prey next time.
It's probably something completely different, but it did remind me of someone.
Who?
The crazy one in Doom Patrol.
Ha! I was thinking...
One of her people. It reminded me of that.
I can kind of see that, but getting back on track, I really enjoyed the Suicide Squad. There was a lot of action too, especially the end, and it did tie in with that Russian episode because, again, we get Deadshot and Diggle talking about honor.
Yeah, they flipped it around, and Diggle asked, "What's stopping you shooting me from that position?" And Deadshot says honor.
Yeah, that was a good parallel, and and as it turns out at the end, both Deadshot was going to be killed, but not Oliver, Diggle saved him. Oliver did nothing. But
Oliver was useless in this episode.
So, I think that's the base of the episode anyway. All the Diggle stuff. We did have a Diggle-centric flashback, so after the craziness of last episode's flashback, we took a break to focus on Diggle, which I wasn't bad, but it wasn't exciting. It was just there. Like I said, the Diggle flashbacks are not my favourite. They're just, I don't get it. I don't care. But the episode itself, God, I love a villain team-up. Villains teaming up with villains? Great. Villains teaming up with heroes? Even better. Villains teaming up with heroes and villains? Perfection.
Yeah, it can be quite the interesting
It's
mix.
so fun, and we'll get to that. There's so many more times that's going to happen. But that's enough about praising Suicide Squad. Let's talk about the weaker half of the episode, the Oliver plot.
He
Oliver,
did nothing except push people away.
he's still moody from the Deathstroke stuff from last time because Slate Wilson's back. So, yeah, Oliver
he spoke to the Russian guys about finding him.
First, he tries to get the Bradford to do stuff, and then he has a break up with the Bradford because he doesn't want to help them. Then he gets all moody with Sarah because he's worried about Sarah. Everyone they care about is being protected. We did it. Obviously, it's nice to have a continuation, but there was nothing exciting. Which is fine, because that's the thing. Like I said, if the title of in my mind, the A-plot is whatever the title refers to, and the Suicide Squad plot was always the best part of the episode.
Yeah.
The Oliver stuff was just kind of there. I mean, there were some nice scenes, but that's about it. But yeah, Oliver pushes stuff away. We have some scenes with Sarah. That is about it. Although I do have to give credit to the ending, where Oliver goes to Argus, because we get both a cliffhanger and quite a few reveals.
Oh yeah, because it shows that
Oliver knows
Amanda knows Slade.
Amanda knows Slade. Not only that, Amanda knows that Slade should be dead. They speak about it as if it's common knowledge.
Yeah, you killed him.
More foreshadowing of the flashbacks.
Not so much foreshadowing as basic spoilers.
Yeah, but like I said, it's not really. I'm okay with that because it's a flashback. Sometimes it's to me it's foreshadowing because it's setting up something we haven't seen yet. But it's kind of a tricky line to cross.
Yeah,
but it
doesn't feel like set up so much as we've flat out been told he's going to kill him.
But we already knew that.
Mm.
But now we know that Amanda knows that, and we know that. I mean, we also didn't, until now, we didn't even know Oliver and Amanda knew each other. Because also, Amanda Waller, even at the beginning of this episode, knew who Oliver was and what Diggle does. But
yeah.
that's fine, that's nothing crazy. But then, it makes more sense now that we've seen the ending. That was about the only decent Oliver scene, and honestly, that was it. The episode was either Suicide Squad or the Oliver stuff.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that happened? I really don't think there was.
No.
No. There wasn't any side plots. There wasn't any awful other stuff. There was some nice little scenes. That's about it. And
Felicity had pajamas.
Okay, sure. Diggle was protecting Felicity at the start. And speaking of people who weren't in the episode, once again, Roy was deleted out of the episode.
Yeah, he was in the deleted scene protecting Thea. Which
was mentioned already, but that's about it. But I really enjoyed this episode. I'm going to push aside the Oliver stuff because it wasn't awful. It was just kind of, who cares, boring. Oliver's being moody. He gets that.
I don't want to go too high. I'll go 6.5.
God, that's so low. So low for the Suicide Squad. I'm giving it an 8. You're very harsh on this show sometimes.
Sometimes.
You gave the last episode a 9.
I liked it.
And this was even better. But I enjoyed. So, I'm giving it an 8 and you're giving it a
6.5.
Alright, well, what's the name of the next one?
Birds of Prey.
God, first we had Suicide Squad, now we have Birds of Prey, although it's completely unrelated. You'd think it were, but those are completely different movies. But next time is Birds of Prey, the 17th episode. My goodness, we're getting through the season again.
Damn, it's going so fast.
It feels like just recently we were wrapping up season 1.
Damn.
We've been really picking up the pace. And yeah, we're getting there. So, I suppose we'll see you next time for episode 17, Birds of Prey.